All right, good morning, everyone. Can we all get seated here? Okay, so let's get our cups of coffee, our little refreshments and stuff, and we've got quite a program here that I'd like to go ahead and get started on this. First of all, good morning, everybody. Good morning. And welcome to Irwindale. Yay! My name is Erwin Furukawa, and I'm the Senior Vice President with Southern California Edison and also a very proud member of the board of the Alliance to Save Energy. And I'd like to personally take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to our center and to this event. This is a tremendous event that we're doing at the Alliance on a national basis. This is the third stop of our Energy 2030 tour as we hit the country, and it's very, very pleased to be here and involve the Alliance as part of our partners here. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to just do some safety coverage here. Okay, so earthquake. Okay, so in the event that there's an earthquake, you guys all know the drill there, right? It's duck, cover, and hold, all right? So we got that? Duck, cover, and hold. All right, and yes, I know. So for our friends from Washington, D.C., we have to prepare for that. Okay, so you duck and you cover and you get under there, okay. All right, and second is that if we need to exit the building for whatever reason, there are emergency exits, of course, these side doors right here, and then the doors that you came in from in the front. So you exit through either of those doors and then you go into the parking lot and then stay there, all right? Okay, so anyway, again, my name is Erwin Furukawa, and it's great to have you here as part of our celebration here. Let me just kind of give you a little background about the Alliance to Save Energy. The Alliance to Save Energy actually celebrates 37 years. It started in 1977. And when you think back about what happened in 1977, well, let me just give you a little thing. This is when Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as our president, and he signed legislation back then creating the U.S. Department of Energy. In 1977, we had the NASA Space Shuttle made its first test flight off the back of a jetliner. Voyager 1 and 2 were launched to explore the outer solar systems. The first Apple II computer was introduced. And then my favorite, Saturday Night Fever was on the market, and John Travolta made flare jeans like the #1 thing. How's that, huh? So it kind of puts it into perspective about how far what 1977 was like and where we've evolved. But over the years, it's really been significant in terms of what it's done in terms of the energy field. In 1977, the Alliance to Save Energy actually was started by two distinguished senators, Senator Charles Percy, the Republican from Illinois, and Senator Hubert Humphrey, the Democrat from Minnesota. And this was one of the very first bipartisan organizations that was created. It was a bipartisan organization that was created that brought in business, it brought in the public sector, it brought in the communities together, all focused on driving energy efficiency across America and the U.S. And as you look over the past 37 years, it's just significant in terms of the accomplishments that this country has been able to do, that the world has come on board, and that the Alliance to Save Energy has spearheaded. So 3.5 decades later, the Alliance is still advocating for the efficient and clean use of energy worldwide to benefit the environment, the economy, and our national security. So today, we'll get to hear more about the innovative plans that the Alliance has spearheaded, which aims to double energy efficiency in the U.S. by 2030. But before we go any further, I'd like to introduce and thank some key participants for joining us today. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Michael Peevey, who's the president of the California Public Utilities Commission. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Peevey's been a key driver of California's leadership in energy efficiency over the last 2 decades. Also like to recognize the Mayor of Monrovia, Mary Ann Lutz, who's done some significant work in the area of energy efficiency. Thank you, Mayor Lutz. It's good to see you again. Welcome. And a gentleman who will be joining us shortly, the mayor of Long Beach, Bob Foster, and he'll be actually participating in one of our panels. So Mayor Foster has been a big supporter. Not only, of course, he was one of the founding members of the board of the Alliance, and he's done a lot in terms of spearheading energy efficiency. So we'll have a lot opportunities to hear more from each of these individuals. So we're all here today because we all share this passion for energy efficiency. And over the course of the morning, we're going to hear from the industry's best and brightest on what has been done and what's in store for the future. So before we get started, let me go ahead and share with you a little background about Southern California Edison. For those of you who do not know, I'm going to make sure you know this, all right? We serve 14 million customers. We serve over 50,000 square miles of territory. And when people really think about what is the significance of that territory, you all know Southern California is probably one of the most diverse territories in the country. Everything from the beach communities over to the deserts, over to the valley, San Joaquin Valley, and then down south into Orange County. But one of the key ways in which we do this is in reaching our customers is we do a significant amount of activity in terms of outreaching and educating to our customers through a comprehensive energy efficiency program. And we work daily with many of you to partner with our customers to save energy through the implementation of our programs. We've been doing energy efficiency since the 1970s, since John Travolta was on that stage. And the continued success of the program can only be supported by our partnerships with all of you in the room today. And together, to give you an idea of the value of what our efforts have done, over the past 5 years, Southern California Edison's energy efficiency programs have helped customers save enough energy to power more than 1.2 million homes for an entire year. And while we're a large utility, we engage in our customers in a number of ways, including everything from our residential programs to our commercial to our industrial programs and to our government programs. One of the things we're very proud of is our Energy Leaders Partners program, where we partner with local governments to educate and to involve and to bring customers into energy efficiency and just have the awareness about our renewables and so forth. And there's many of you who are our partners here today. So if you're part of our partners, I know we've highlighted them in terms of these poster boards. I'd like to personally say thank you very much for being a part of our program. Now, energy efficiency and demand response have come along and have had a very successful history here in California. And no state can rival the magnitude of energy savings delivered through the state's energy efficiency policies. So we're especially excited about what lies ahead. First of all, technology is changing, customer preferences are changing, new markets are being developed, and there's a world of opportunity out there to help our customers better manage their energy usage. And we plan to continue to help our customers meaningfully engage in their energy management and empower them to make informed decisions about their energy needs and helping them manage their energy bills. Now, with our Edison Smart Connect meters, which are our smart meters, we've been able to provide customers with information that they can make informed decisions on that. And with that, we've leveraged with a number of third parties in providing information in a way that customers can relate to through the use of home area management programs and home area networks, third-party alliances, and so forth. And there's no doubt in my mind that as this future evolves, energy is number one. And as we think about what's happening in this sector, we're going to expect to see more changes that occur in this, and it's our obligation at Edison and through our partners to educate and to bring our customers on board. Edison and this Alliance, I'm very happy to say, of course, that we've been in partnership with the Alliance. We were one of the founding members of the Alliance back in 1977. And we've had three distinguished officers who've been on the board over the histories. I just joined the board this year, or last year actually, and it's been a great privilege in terms of being a part of that organization. So today, I'd like to say again, thank you very much for being a part of this. I'd also like to recognize, of course, the Department of Water and Power, Los Angeles, as being a co-sponsor for this event. And Dave Jaco, I see you. Yeah, so David, thank you very much for being a partner of this. All right, so it's my privilege right now to introduce the president for the Alliance to Save Energy. We have a great agenda planned ahead. So I'm going to introduce you to Kateri Callahan, who's from this Alliance to Save Energy. Kateri brings more than 25 years of experience. 25 years of experience, I know, in policy advocacy, fundraising, coalition building, and organizational management in her position as the president of the Alliance to Save Energy. The Alliance has worked for more than 3 decades to advance energy efficiency worldwide to achieve a healthier economy, a cleaner environment, and greater energy security. And as president of the Alliance, Kateri leads a staff of nearly over 90 folks who serve on the Alliance Board of Directors, which includes members of Congress, the state and local officials, and top corporate and NGO executives. Under her leadership, the Alliance conducts policy, communicates research, education, and market transformation initiatives in the U.S. and more than a dozen other countries. In addition, the Alliance also conducts international conferences, summits, and other education outreach forums to further its mission. She is a trusted source for credible information on energy efficiency and its role in addressing the environment, economic, and national security, and we're very, very honored to have her here as part of our Energy 2030 America tour. So please welcome Kateri Callahan.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, Erwin. He already gave it away, 25 years of experience, so I have to say, Erwin, that I actually remember the line dance from Saturday Night Fever, so maybe on the break we can all compare notes on that. I want to start this morning by thanking our sponsors, LADWP and Southern California Edison, for allowing us to come and be with you all. A lot of good reasons. I'm in Washington, D.C., and we were under the polar vortex, so the weather out here, very inviting. But more importantly, as an energy efficiency advocate, it really does my soul good to come out here and to see the continuing excitement and enthusiasm. You folks have been doing energy efficiency better than anybody else for 3.5 decades, as Erwin pointed out, but you keep doing it, and you keep showing up, and you keep doubling down, and that's really what I'm here to talk to you about today, taking energy efficiency to the next level and helping to lead the country. So today, in my very short time, I was going to introduce you to the Alliance, but Erwin took care of a lot of that, so I'll just spend maybe a minute more there. I want to explain to you what Energy 2030 is, which is a shorthand term that we're using for a goal our organization articulated back in 2012, and we were pleased that the President adopted that goal in his State of the Union address last year for the country. And what is that goal? That goal is to double energy productivity between now and the year 2030. And what does that mean? That means that we will get 2 times as much GDP from each unit of energy in. And the only way to do that is to improve energy efficiency. So I want to explain to you that goal. We need to take a little look back for the past being prologue to show you and to demonstrate why we believe it's not only a bold and audacious goal, but it is totally a doable goal and something that if we all link arms and start marching toward that beat, we certainly will get there and maybe even surpass our own bold, audacious goal. And then I want to end up by, hopefully, at the end of today, having you take the pledge with us, having you be partners with us, whether you're the mayor of a city, whether you run energy efficiency or sustainability programs for a city, for a county, whether you're in business. We need each and every one of you to sign up, take the pledge, to do your part to double energy productivity so we can meet our goal by the year 2030. So first on the Alliance, Erwin did a masterful job. We have been around for 37 years. There's 2 things that I want to highlight that he mentioned, but I think it's worth saying again. We are a bipartisan organization. We have 16 members of Congress on our board, and we have almost an equal balance. It's bicameral, so both House and Senate members, and Republicans and Democrats. It's very, very important for us to be able to get things done at the national level, if we can get past the gridlock, to be able to work on a bipartisan basis. And energy efficiency has been that sweet spot in national energy policy where people can come together. And that's because there's something in it for everyone. There are economic benefits that attracts conservatives and liberals alike, and all of us who are interested in it. Energy security, which for very conservative and hawkish people, that's another very, very important element. And then, of course, there's climate. And whether you're a climate believer or denier, you can still embrace energy efficiency for the other two very important reasons to support that. So we have had great success and have been able to move a lot of policy forward at the national level and at state levels, whether a Republican is in charge of that state or a Democrat in terms of the legislature as well. And what have we accomplished? So since the Alliance's creation in the mid-'70s, and I wish I could say that we take credit for all of this, but there are so many people who worked on it, we have been able in this country to offset the need for 50 quads of energy. What does that mean? 50 quads of energy is about half of the energy we use each year to power the economy. So in effect, over the last 37 years, we've doubled energy productivity in this country. We've done it once, we can do it again. What we're talking about is shortening the time frame to get that done. And with the explosion of technology and innovation and the creative minds like those in this room, we believe, again, that that is completely doable. What does it mean to have shaved off 50 quads of demand? It means that we are avoiding spending $400 billion a year on energy. And we're not putting up 2.5 billion tons of CO2 annually, which we otherwise would be doing if we hadn't made those improvements. So very, very big gains. And how did we do that? When we look at what underpins that, of course there's technology improvements and innovation that's happened, but there's also a very important foundation of public policy. And we see that as a virtuous cycle. There's investment by government and by industry in research, development, and deployment. Once those technologies get through the pipeline, then they need incentives to get a toehold into the market. And that's where utility rebate programs and others come into play. There's education and outreach. Once you get to a point where the technology is in the market, you need to create an environment and create demand for that to let it get at scale to compete. Once you have technologies that are very efficient in the market, competing head-on with less efficient products, that's when you can lock in the savings through codes, building energy codes, and through standards to get the least efficient products out of the market. And then finally, there's government leadership. The U.S. federal government's the largest single energy user in the United States. It has very deep pockets as well. So what it does with its own facilities, with its own fleets, with its investment, really helps to transform markets. And that's true of government at all levels, whether at the city, the state, or at the federal level. So to seize the day and to double energy productivity, public policy really matters. And what we've seen at the federal level, as an example, just in the last several years in my tenure at the Alliance, there was the Energy Policy Act of 2005 that had some appliance standards and building energy code provisions in it that were very important. The Energy Independence and Security Act, which had the light bulb phase out in it, and that's in large part thanks to leadership by California, which was the single largest appliance standard in terms of energy savings that we have ever adopted in this country. And then, of course, there was a stimulus funding and $32 billion of investment in energy efficiency sprinkled all around the country. So we've made some historic gains. But really, the story for energy efficiency is at the ground up. And our sister organization, ACEEE, does a scorecard of the best states on energy efficiency policy. And I'm pleased to tell you that California has won that 4 out of the 7 years that they've been tracking what's going on. But I'm hoping I can get your competitive juices going because you haven't been first for the last 3 years. Massachusetts has been kicking your butt. So hopefully we can step up and regain that, I know. Erwin, if you didn't catch that, he said I'd been censored for using the B word. So anyway, we've got that history, and we've got this great foundation. So what's next? Our Alliance board members put together a commission to look at what the next generation of national energy efficiency policy should look like. And they adopted the goal of doubling energy productivity to make them think big and bold and outside the box. And what they came to in setting that goal is to look first at, well, where are we going just as business as usual? The Energy Information Administration says that if we do nothing more than the policies that are on the books right now all across the country, at all levels of government, we're going to get a 47% improvement in our energy productivity by 2030. And that's pretty darn good. But what we're saying is we can up that ante and do another 53% better if we put additional policies and programs and investments in place. And what does that mean to the country? We had an economic analysis group take a look at what would be the result of doubling energy productivity in the United States. We didn't do it ourselves because we didn't want it to have the smear of an advocate saying rosy things about it. So we actually paid somebody to do economic analysis work. What they found was if we're able to double energy productivity, we're going to save net savings $327 billion a year. Big number. What's that translate down to? For the average family, it means energy savings of over $1,000 a year, $1,039 for the average family to be precise. What's it mean in terms of global climate change? It means we will take CO2 emissions in the United States down to a third below where they were in 2005. What's it mean in terms of jobs? It means we'll create 1.3 million jobs. It means that we will improve the growth in GDP by 2% per annum on average. So a lot of good can come of this. But how do you do that? It means that you're going to have to reach the goal, look at putting in place policies and engaging not just at the national level, but also at the state and local level, and also bringing the private sector into the game. And so our commission looked at a framework of how are we going to do this? And they said, all right, we are not doing an academic exercise here. We only want to look at policies that can attract from the extreme ends of the political the spectrum into the middle. So we want actionable policies to recommend. We want to cover all sectors of the economy, all levels of government and the private sector. We need to respect the appropriate roles of government, not having Uncle Sam with Big Brother telling the states what to do, but rather having states put in place policies and having Uncle Sam help them to do that through technical and financial assistance. So there are 3 key strategies. We came up with 52 different recommendations. About half of those are directed at the state and local level, and we're going to be talking and seeing some examples of those. But they really fall around 3 key strategies, which goes to your program today. The 52 policies look at investing. And we're going to talk about ways today and see some examples of ways that people are investing in energy efficiency. We've got to modernize. Whether you're talking about hard infrastructure or you're talking about regulatory policy, urban planning policies, we need to modernize and look at energy efficiency as a key strategy in those different regulatory arenas. And then we need to educate. We need to create the next generation of energy efficiency consumers, professionals, and advocates. And we need to make sure that people understand that there's something in it for them personally, by adopting a goal of becoming more energy productive, cutting waste out of the system, being more productive, and helping our economy to grow. With that, I will say, I hope we're going to hear a lot more about all these. I could stand up here and talk to you about this for 20 more minutes, but you'd be bored to tears. And I'm standing in the way of our next wonderful speaker, who Erwin Furukawa is going to introduce to you. So at the end of the day, I'm going to come back. I've got a board over here. I'd love each and every one of you to squeeze your name onto that board and to join us in doubling energy productivity between now and 2030. Thank you very much.
And I think I just lost the mic. So, all right. Massachusetts going to kick our butt? I don't think so. we're gonna pull it together here in California. All right. Well, right now it's a great opportunity right now to introduce to you someone who is committed and has really led the way in energy efficiency for us in demand response to our customers, and has made a huge contribution in terms of driving this force, not only here in California, but across the country and internationally as well. Michael Peevey has served as the California Public Utilities Commission for almost 12 years, and having been originally appointed to the CPUC by Governor Gray Davis in March of 2002, then was appointed president of the California Public Utilities Commission in December of 2002. In December of 2008, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger reappointed Mr. Peevey to the CPUC for another 6 years. And as president of the CPUC, Mr. Peevey is committed to protecting the public interest by promoting consumer needs. He is focused on how utilities embrace new technologies and provide safe, high-quality services. Mr. Peevey is dedicated to maximizing energy efficiency and demand response opportunities, ensuring that California's environment is protected. He is a strong supporter of renewable energy and renewable procurement requirements for utilities and is a leader in implementing California's solar and greenhouse gas initiatives. He serves as the chairman of the California Clean Energy Fund, an independent nonprofit corporation working to advance clean energy using tools from finance, public policy, and technological innovation, and also serves as the chairman of the California Emerging Technology Fund, which provides leadership statewide to close the digital divide. It's a privilege to have him, great honor to have him in attendance here with us. Please join me in welcoming the Commissioner and the President of the California Public Utilities Commission, Mr. Michael R. Peevey.
Well, good morning, everybody. Just a few preliminary remarks. I think, first place, I dispute their business about Massachusetts, and I would say the following, that regardless of what else happens, that the New England Patriots have as little chance of winning the Super Bowl against either the 49ers or Seattle. They haven't won in 10 years, so there's no reason to think they're going to win this year against a West Coast team, which many of us hope are the 49ers. But if they're not the 49ers, we'll accept Seattle there, even though the game has to be played there in New Jersey. Can you imagine that, the Super Bowl in January in New Jersey? I mean, have they gone out of their minds? But there you are. At any rate, this is great to be back here in this building. At one time, I was affiliated with Southern California Edison Company, and I was part of it when this facility was built. It used to be called CTEC. It's gone through several iterations, metamorphosis, and it's changed, it's grown, and it's a wonderful facility for the communities that Edison serves all over its service territory, as Erwin pointed out, which is vast, 50,000 square miles and so forth. And there's a lot to be learned here. There's a lot to be learned by people in local government. There's also a lot to be learned by the Edison Company from people in local government as we implement so many of the things that we wish to do. And it's a pleasure to be here with the Department of Water and Power. I know David Jaco, who will be on one of the panels here, is representing the Department of Water and Power today. He's not going to talk to you about the stuff that's in the newspapers. He's going to talk to you about what DWP is doing as a partner with Edison and SoCal Gas and others in achieving the goals that we've set in California. So it's a pleasure for me to be here, and as a member and supporter of the Charles Percy Society, I learned last night I was one of the very first members. She'll tell you about what that is later. That was one of the founders, Charles Percy, a senator. Remember the days when there were Republicans who were moderates? Who said no? Well, there used to be. But they do come together, and he was a great one. He came to the state of Illinois. At any rate, I'm very encouraged and excited about the work of the Alliance. I think it's, you've heard from Kateri, you've heard from Erwin, you'll hear more today, but it's a great program, and going around the United States drumming up further support is a very, very worthwhile thing to do. Because we're all working toward the same goal, that is California state government and the Alliance and all, which is a cleaner energy future. And I'm going to speak mostly about California today and give you some context, but it's all part of a broader national strategy. I think it's important that the Energy 2030 report, which is on the table you have there, recommends so many very, very good and essential programs for our national energy policy. I just wish that we could get more coherence on an overall national energy policy. We seem to have a very difficult time doing any piece other than this piece, this energy efficiency piece, of which there is significant agreement, I think, by many, many people. But we really have to be extremely aggressive if we're going to double our energy efficiency or productivity by 2030. That's not that far away, and it's going to help us. In fact, it's essential to us in reaching our long-term environmental goals. As one of the leaders of the state of California in this energy regulatory environment, I want to reflect a little bit on our history, this state's history. I think we've done a lot right. But I also want to reflect on some of the serious challenges we face, and give you some ideas of how we could overcome some of those challenges. You know, it wasn't too long ago, just about 12 years ago, we had what was called the electricity crisis in California. Actually, it was broader than California. It was in Nevada and elsewhere. You all remember Enron, that wonderful company, and Fat Boy, and all these wonderful terms they used to kind of exploit California consumers. Well, out of that crisis in California, and believe me, we're still collecting monies through the FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, for the ill deeds done to California consumers 10, 12 years ago. We're still getting monies back. We just got, a few months ago, commitment from PowerX, which is the marketing arm of the British Columbia hydro system, for $750 million. It's not a small amount of money back to California consumers, ratepayers or customers, if you will. But during that energy crisis and right afterwards, we came up, several of us, with this notion of a energy action plan for California to forego these kind of things happening in the future. And we developed what was called the loading order. The loading order. That's just a clever term for priority list, frankly. And it was later codified into the Public Utilities Code, the statute by law. And under the Public Utilities Code, it simply requires that utilities such as Edison are required to first meet, quote, unmet resource needs through all available energy efficiency and demand reduction resources that are cost-effective, reliable, and feasible. That's the law of the state of California. So in many respects, all we're talking about here as we go forward is doing what the law requires us to do. I mean, let's not think that we're incredible crusaders. I mean, we have got to a point where now we know what we, in many cases, we have to do, but it's also a statutory requirement. Then it was coupled with, in 2006, the passage of the California Global Warming Solutions Act. It was a shorthand called AB 32, Assembly Bill 32, which amplified the need for intensive energy efficiency effort. There, the California Air Resources Board, chaired by a Southern Californian, Mary Nichols, is a scoping plan for the implementation of that statute says that, quote, California has a long history of success in implementing regulations and programs to encourage energy efficiency. It will need to greatly expand these efforts to meet our greenhouse gas reduction goals. This is a major policy pivot. California's energy agencies, including the one I head and the California Energy Commission, have worked diligently to provide policy direction, adequate financial incentives, funding, robust program administrative oversight, and firm ratcheting standards. Ratcheting means going up regularly. The reality is that although we have much ground to cover, we have had some very successful energy efficiency programs. For the 2010 through 12 year, the Public Utilities Commission directed the investor-owned utilities, including Edison and PG&E and San Diego Gas and Electric, to expend approximately $2.2 billion on efficiency programs. I mean, this is not just the goodness of Edison's heart that it spends hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's also directed by the Public Utilities Commission. Now, we can make that a very positive and cooperative effort, and I think we have, but don't be misled, those of you in government. It's government that to some extent drives this very clearly and will continue to do so. A preliminary analysis provided by Edison and the other utilities indicates that this expenditure of $2.2 billion has resulted in over $3 billion of energy savings, clearly making energy efficiency the least expensive and cleanest energy resource available. I mean, cheaper than building a brand new power plant, although we need some of that too. So I think there's a lot to be thankful for. California is investing substantial capital to provide our residents with a cleaner environment. But it's not immediately apparent how we're going to achieve our really big goals. A major improvement is in line due to the Energy 2030 plan, if we could implement all of us on improving energy productivity. But we have to go beyond that, and we believe that economic prosperity goes hand in hand with this investment in clean energy technology. I want to reflect a little bit, those that really follow this stuff, upon recent news that the whole home, Gene, retrofit program, Energy Upgrade California, is struggling. I think to some degree that's an apt description. The mission of the program is to help shape the economic decisions of Californians toward enabling major efficiency and modifications to their homes. The goal of the program was to provide comprehensive upgrades to over 100,000 homes. So far, about 12,000 have received the upgrades. Fortunately, this is the worst-case scenario example, as a majority of the efficiency programs overseen by the PUC are much more cost-effective. But to hit California's long-term environmental goals, the whole home retrofit program is a nut we have to crack, and I think we have the ability to do it. I have some rough ideas on this. We could be doing more online audits before asking customers to invest in a 4-hour home visit. That's a long time. With the Green Button Initiative the PUC approved, customers should be able to upload their energy consumption patterns for analysis and to get personalized energy efficiency retrofit recommendations. And we should have an energy data center to enable statewide, whether it's at Davis or whether it's at UCLA or Irvine or San Diego or Berkeley. We should have an energy data center that collects all this information that DWP has been a pace setter in providing to the state of California, providing so much of the individual usage data in what's called a core data dump to UCLA, that material that is extremely useful right down to the census tract detail, where we now know the efficiency block by block. Right, David? And when you couple that, I'm going to give you guys a little clue here. When you couple that with some other work UCLA does, I'm straying off point, but about climate change and how it will affect the Southern California area in the next 30 years, the key is live on the coast. If you're going to live in Porter Ranch, the temperature will go up 5 degrees Fahrenheit on average if you like Phoenix, it's the place for you. At any rate, I think we also have to give our customers the ability to rate contractors, as people do the work. Hearing from colleagues who have gone through the program, the website was only minimally useful as a Yellow Pages directory. This is inside baseball stuff that not everybody's going to get, but some of you that are doing this every day understand what I'm talking about. CoolCalifornia.org is a great tool as well, but we need to link initiatives like this directly to customer data and feed the analysis into home audits. Ultimately, we need to leverage smart meters, as was referenced, smart appliances, and mobile apps. These technologies make it possible for people to reduce their energy use by managing the electricity flow in real time. These technologies will also allow utilities to reduce electric load during peak times. This way, air conditioners, for example, can be tuned to provide adequate comfort with the least necessary energy consumption. We must use technology to increase productivity while reducing consumption, and that's the whole point of this Energy 2030 pitch. Shifting to long-term environmental goals, I want to remind this audience about the 2005 executive order by Governor Schwarzenegger, reissued and amplified by Governor Brown when he got elected, that requires California to reduce emissions of heat-trapping greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and hydrofluorocarbons by 80% below 1990 levels by 2050. Well, 2050, some of us may not see, but I can assure you that many people in the room here and their children and grandchildren will. This is a tough, tough goal to achieve. Evaluating the progress toward this goal, the Lawrence Berkeley Lab, part of the University of California system in Northern California, recently published a report concluded that many new ideas are needed to meet these greenhouse gas targets. So meeting the 2050 targets requires us to further ramp up energy efficiency by retrofitting or replacing most buildings, and electrifying most of our transportation. It requires us to decarbonize our electricity generation to the maximum extent possible with the help of storage, and we made a major decision in that regard regarding battery storage. The PUC has. Over 1,000 new megawatts of storage have to come online in the next 8 to 10 years. Demand response and a smarter grid. This is a tall order to achieve over the next 36 years, but it can be done. I am convinced if we all do our best. We have to try to do these things. Over the past decade, I have worked diligently with many others to move California's energy infrastructure investment in the most positive direction possible. Much of my policy decision-making has been rooted in ensuring our energy system imposes few possible negative externalities to our environment, as few as possible, while